Welcome to CCN Network TV. I am your host, Captivating Christian. And in the race for the White House, we have 2020 presidential candidates for the Democratic Party. So let's take a deeper look into some of them, shall we? And first up, we have Joe Biden. Joe Biden served as the vice president under former President Barack Obama from 2009 up until 2017, after nearly 4 decades serving as a senator from Delaware. Biden is the most experienced politician in the race and among the oldest, coming in at age 78. This will be his third presidential run. His first White House bid was back in 1987, which ended after a plagiarism scandal. In his video announcement for his candidacy, which was posted on Twitter back in April 25th, Biden focused on the 2017 deadly crash between the white supremacists and counter-protesters in Charlottesville, Virginia, saying that Donald Trump's comments that were which he said that there were some fine people on both sides, and the violent encounters which left one woman dead, that we are battling for the soul of this nation, Biden said. If we give Donald Trump 8 years in this White House, he will forever fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen. Last year, Biden struggled to respond to comments from Lucy Flores back in 2014, the lieutenant governor nominee in Nevada, who said he made her feel uncomfortable by touching her shoulder and kissing the back of her head before a campaign event. Several other women have made similar claims. In a video, Biden pledged to be more mindful, respecting personal space. Flores told Fox News that the former senator jokes on the matter have been so insensitive and disrespectful. Last year, however, he was also repeatedly forced to explain his 1991 decision as the Senate Majority Committee chairman to allow Anita Hill to face questions about her allegations of sexual harassment against Clarence Thomas, then a nominee for the Supreme Court. Biden has since apologized for his role in the hearing, but in the Me Too movement era, it is another example of why critics believe he may struggle to catch on to the Democratic primary voter of 2020. Biden has also become a prominent figure in the House of Representatives impeachment inquiry of Donald Trump. That probe is centered around a July 25th phone call in which Trump pressures the Ukrainian president Zelensky to investigate Biden and his businessman son Hunter Biden. Democrats have accused Trump of pressuring Ukraine to find incriminating information on Biden after withholding nearly $400 million in U.S. security aid to Ukraine. There have been no evidence of wrongdoing by the Bidens. In December, the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives impeached Trump for the abuse of power and the obstruction of Congress. Up, we have Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has served as a U.S. representative for 16 years before being elected to the Senate in 2006. Where he currently represents the state of Vermont, a progressive and co-founder of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. He is the longest-serving independent congressman in its history. Sanders announced his presidential run on February 19, 2019. Sanders ran an unsuccessful bid for president back in 2016 after losing to Hillary Clinton. In the 2020 race, Sanders will have to fight to stand out, of course, in a packed field of progressive torching issues he brought into the Democratic Party's mainstream 4 years ago. His proposals include free tuition at public colleges, a $15 minimum wage, and universal health care. He benefits from a strong name recognition and a robust network of small dollar donors, helping him to raise nearly $5.9 million during his first day in the contest. Since then, he has qualified for all the debates henceforth. And next we have Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren, 69. Elizabeth Warren has served as the U.S. Senator for Massachusetts since 2013. Warren is known as a progressive, taught law at several universities, and was a Harvard professor. Warren is a leader of the party's liberal and the fierce Wall Street critic, who was instrumental in creating the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Early this year, she apologized for the Cherokee Nation, for taking a DNA test to prove her claim to be Native American ancestry. She's also announced her presidential run back in February 9th of 2019. She has promised to fight what she calls a rigged economic system that favors the wealthy. She recently unveiled a student loan forgiveness proposal that would cancel up to $50,000 of debt for millions of U.S. citizens. She also supports free college tuition for students at a 2-year and 4-year institutions. Warren has qualified for all the debates so far. Then we have Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg, 37, has served as the mayor of South Bend, Indiana since 2012. Before that, Buttigieg was a consult for McKinley and Company. He is the first openly gay Democratic candidate to run for president. He announced his presidential bid back in January 23rd of 2019. There are no policy positions on his website. He's virtually no paid presence in the states that matter most. And his campaign manager is a high school friend with no experience in presidential politics. Despite this, he has suddenly became one of the hottest names in the Democratic presidential primary season. On the campaign trail, he has frequently spoken about the struggle of legalizing same-sex marriage. He has also repeatedly criticized Vice President Mike Pence for his views that undermine LGBT rights. I am not critical of his faith. I am critical of bad policy. I do not have a problem with religion. I am religious too. I have a problem with religion being used as a justification to harm people, and especially in the LGBT community. The Indiana Democrat said in an interview with NBC Ellen DeGeneres show last year. Buttigieg moment may pass. Buttigieg's moment may pass if he does not take a swift action to build a national organization capable of harnessing the energy he will need to sustain his surge in the 9 months or so before the first votes are cast. Buttigieg qualified for all the debates so far. Next we have Amy Klobuchar. Amy Klobuchar has served as a U.S. Senator from Minnesota since 2007. Okay, let's do that over. Amy Klobuchar has served as a U.S. Senator from Minnesota since 2007, becoming her state's first elected female senator. Before joining the Senate, she was the Hennepin County lawyer. Klobuchar gained national attention back in 2018 when she sparred with Brett Kavanaugh during the Senate hearing for his Supreme Court nomination. She announced her presidential run on February 10, 2019. On the campaign trail, the former prosecutor and corporate lawyer supports an alternative to traditional Medicare health care funding and is taking a hard stance against rising prescription medicine prices. She has qualified for all her debates thus far. Next, we have Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang, 44, is the founder of a Venture of America. In 2012, the Obama administration selected him as a chairman or the champion of change. In 2015, he was selected as the presidential ambassador of Global Enterprise. He filed with the Federal Elections Commission to run for president in 2020 on November 6, 2017. The entrepreneur and former tech executive is focusing his campaign on an ambitious universal income plan. Yang wants to guarantee all American citizens between the ages of 18 to 64 a $1,000 a month stipend. The son of immigrants from Taiwan, Yang is also pushing for Medicare for all and proposing a new form of capitalism that is human-centered. Yang failed to qualify for the January debate. Then we have Michael Bennet. Michael Bennet, age 54, has served as a U.S. Senator from Colorado since 2009. Bennet is a former head of the Denver School District, carved out a profile as a wonky policy-oriented senator. He gained internet fame this year for a lash scolding from Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas over the government shutdown. Bennet was close to launching a presidential campaign after that, but had to pause when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Bennett's office said last year that the senator the treatment was successful. That cleared the way for his May 2nd, 2019 campaign launch. Bennet has so far only made the debate stage twice during the first and second debates. He's failed to qualify for the other events. Next, we have Michael Bloomberg. Michael Bloomberg, age 77, served as New York City's mayor from 2002 to 2013. The 77-year-old billionaire entered into the race in November after much speculation about his possible run. We cannot afford 4 more years of President Trump's recklessness and unethical actions, the former mayor said. Announcing his candidacy, he represents an existential threat to our country and our values. If he wins another term in office, we may never recover from the damage. Many have criticized Bloomberg for his run, accusing him of trying to buy the presidency. I understand that rich people are going to have more shoes than the rest of us. They're going to have more cars than the rest of us. They're going to have more houses, said Senator Elizabeth Warren, a frontrunner. The American businessman Michael Bloomberg speaks during a meeting at the COP 23rd United National Climate Change Conference back in 2017 in Bonn, Germany. Senator Bernie Sanders slammed Bloomberg even before his formal announcement, saying, "I am disgusted by the idea that Michael Bloomberg and any billionaire thinks they can circumvent the political process and spend tens of millions of dollars to buy an election," Sanders tweeted. Bloomberg has joined the Giving Pledge campaign, promising to give away at least half of his wealth to charity organizations. He's angered many minority voters during his 12 years as mayor, defending the controversial stop and frisk policy strategy despite the disproportionate effect it had on people of color. Facing an African American congregation in Brooklyn, Bloomberg apologized and acknowledged that it often led to the detention of minors. The apology was received by many prominent activists who noted it was made as he was taking steps to enter into the presidential race. Running an unconventional race with no donations, Bloomberg has failed to qualify for the debates. We have John Delaney. John Delaney, 56. John Delaney served as a U.S. Congressman for Maryland's 6th District back in 2013 to 2019. Delaney, a former banker entrepreneur, is known as politically moderate with a willingness to reach across the aisle. He has supported a measure to raise the money to build infrastructure by allowing U.S. corporations to avoid taxes when they duplicate profits overseas if they buy bonds that would be used to build infrastructures. Delaney is one of the wealthiest members of Congress, was the first to announce that he will seek his party's nomination in 2020. He announced his presidential run in a Washington Post newspaper opinion piece published back in July of 2017. He said he was entering in the political presidential race early because he knows he will need time to build his name recognition. He has failed to qualify for the first debate, but he was able to do so for the second one. He could not, however, meet the guidelines for the latest event. Tulsi Gabbard served as a U.S. Congresswoman from Hawaii's 2nd District since 2013. Gabbard is the first Hindu member of Congress. At the age of 21, she became the youngest to be elected to the U.S. State Legislature, serving on the Hawaii House of Representatives. She has also served in the Hawaii Army National Guard in a combat zone in Iraq and was deployed to Kuwait. She was a fierce opponent of same-sex marriage when she served in the state legislature in her 20s, but she has since disavowed those views and professed her support for LGBT rights, and has pounced on her efforts to block legislation of same-sex marriage in Hawaii. And a meeting she held with Syrian president earlier this year, she penned an opinion piece responding to the media reports about her alleged ties to Hindu nationalists. Gabbard officially launched her presidential campaign back in February 2nd of 2019. Gabbard qualifies for the first two debates, but failed to do so for the third one. She did qualify, however, for the October and November events, but she has failed to meet the requirements for the December and January debates. Tom Sawyer is 62, a billionaire donor and liberal activist, announced on July 9th, 2019, that he was joining the Democratic presidential field after intentionally saying he would not run to focus on his attention on impeaching Trump and getting fellow Democrats elected to Congress. There's a breakdown in Washington, D.C., and I don't mean just Donald Trump, Steyer tweeted in a thread announcing his candidacy. I am talking about corporate money and our broken political system. The 62-year-old is one of the most visible and deeply pocketed liberals advocating for Trump's impeachment, but he has previously said that he has grown frustrated with the pace at which the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives is approaching Trump. Tom Sawyer, the founder of Next Gen Climate, speaks during the California Democratic Convention in San Francisco, California. His announcement made no mention of impeachment issues. Instead, it focused on why he believes that there is a need to reduce the influence of corporations in politics. He also said that he plans to target climate change, which is the focus of the Steyer-backed advocacy group Next Gen America, citing issues including climate change and the opioid crisis. Steyer said that in nearly every major intractable problem, at the back of it, you see big money interests for whom is stopping the progress. Stopping justice is really important to their bottom line. Steyer announced his presidential bid after the first presidential debate back in June. He failed to make the debate stage in July and September, but he did qualify for October, November, December, and January debates. And next we have Deval Patrick, 63. The former Massachusetts governor, Deval Patrick, in November said that he was seeking the Democratic Party's 2020 presidential nomination despite already a crowded race, in an effort to bring a divided country and splintered political party together. Patrick, a 63-year-old African American and closely allied with former President Barack Obama, said he respected the field of nearly 20 Democratic seeking the challenge Trump in the next November election. But he said he was concerned there was too much focus on either nostalgia for the way things used to be done or in event of the Bellagio Hotel in Vegas, Nevada. In a campaign video announced his bid, Patrick cited anxiety and anger among Americans who feel their government and the economy has let them down. He said that he was determined to build a better, more stable, more inclusive American dream for the next generation. I hope you enjoyed my version of 2020 Road to the White House. So my comment section is open, so please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, be the change you want to see. So if you want change, you have to be that change. It starts with you. Once again, thank you for watching another CCN Network TV production. Have a good night. Peace.